Good morning. My name is Amelia Lee on this beautiful Wednesday morning, January 29th, and we are finally at 6:30, just 30 seconds away from 6:30 at this point and 30 minutes away from 7 o'clock. It's also time to check on in with Megan Dusmall, meteorologist Megan Dusmall, for a look at the forecast this morning. Megan, we have been talking about some of these warmer temps. I know I wore a big coat today. I don't think that was necessary for me, but folks outside may want some sort of jacket so that they do stay a little bit warm as it's kind of chilly.
Yeah, for the first time in a while, I put on my winter coat. I got in my car to drive to work, and I had to take it off because I was getting too hot in my car on the way. So that's what you can expect. Those temperatures are definitely on the warmer side of things. But the good news on top of that is that we're nice and clear this morning. Taking a look at that satellite and radar, looking at pretty much no fog across the area, no clouds, and no precipitation. We'll continue to see that trend as we're going through today. Very good news there. And I mentioned the temperatures. Well, here they are as you're heading out the door. We are in the low 40s. Now, earlier this morning when I headed into work, we were in the upper 40s. So seeing those temperatures drop a little bit. But don't worry, we're not going to continue dropping much more as we're getting into the high temperatures this afternoon. In the 50s. Definitely excited for that. We're looking mid to upper 50s in the area. A little bit cooler as you're traveling towards Wise in the upper 40s and hitting that 50-degree mark as you're traveling towards Clintwood and Logan as well as Moorhead. Now, here's that breakdown for today. As you go through the next couple hours, we'll see the nice sunny skies from 9 o'clock until the sun sets. And then we're looking at those clear skies overnight, seeing those temperatures drop just a little bit into the overnight lows in the low 30s. Amelia?
All right, Megan, thank you. The Scott County community is hopeful that today they could see justice served for the death of Deputy Caleb Conley. Court records show Stephen Sheng is set to change his plea in Scott County today at 1:30. Sheng is accused of shooting and killing Deputy Conley in May 2023. Deputy Conley was gunned down during a traffic stop on I-75. Sheng pled not guilty and maintained his innocence. Sheriff Tony Hampton waited for this day to see this case closed since the shooting in 2023.
We're going to be a part of this entire process, and but, you know, I expect it to be lengthy. Most of these things usually are.
Our sister station obtained multiple incident reports involving Sheng from the Bourbon County Detention Center, ranging from violence like attacking someone with a broomstick to hiding the key to a handcuff. Kentucky State Police say one person is dead after an officer-involved shooting in Rowan County. Officials say the incident happened yesterday morning at a home on Buffalo Ranch. Scanner traffic indicated it was a domestic dispute. One woman says her friend lived in the house where everything happened.
I just got a message and I just hurried up here as fast as I could to see what was going on. I was tore up like a freight train. I couldn't even get dressed. Look at me. I mean, I just threw my clothes on and out the door I went.
Investigators did not say what led up to the shooting, but we know that one person was shot and they died at the hospital. We do know that there were no injuries in this incident. State police are investigating a deadly crash in Pike County. Troopers with KSP Post 9 responded to the two-vehicle crash just after 6 on Monday evening. It happened on Penny Highway Drive in the Virgie area. Troopers say one woman was driving a Jeep Grand Cherokee when her vehicle crossed the center line and hit a Kia Sorento being driven by Mina Pinson. Pinson was pronounced dead at the scene by the coroner's office. A Pikeville man was sentenced to 33 years in prison. Samuel Atkins was sentenced for possession with the intent to distribute 40 grams or more of fentanyl and possession of firearms by a convicted felon. According to court documents, law enforcement found Atkins at a home in Richmond in January 2023. They found drugs in a bedroom. After he was taken to the Madison County Detention Center, police later found he was trafficking drugs inside his cell. 2 men are facing charges after being accused of taking mining equipment. This happened last week in the McDowell area in Floyd County. Police were patrolling the area when they started to follow Malin Mitchell and Jason Stumbo. When police searched their truck, they found the equipment in the bed. The men told police they got the items from an abandoned mine property in Martin County. A new report is shining light on how many foster children in Kentucky are sleeping in state office buildings and for how long. Kentucky State Auditor Allison Ball launched the investigation into the Cabinet for Health and Family Services last year. From June 10th to October 29th, Officials report 49 children spent a combined 198 days in state office buildings. Following the findings, Ball is now asking for further investigations. University of Kentucky police are investigating a sexual assault on campus. A crime bulletin went out Sunday, alerting students to the incident. UK police say it happened January 17th in the victim's room in a residence hall. They say the victim knows the two suspects. UK police confirmed the victim was connected with resources, like a victim's advocate, to navigate the legal process. The University of Kentucky is now introducing a new program to help keep their students safe. The Green Dot program. It's a national effort to encourage people to be active in eliminating violence. On UK's campus yesterday, the Violence Intervention and Prevention Center invited students to workshops at the Gatton Student Center to teach them how to prevent violence. Leaders with the center say they saw a lot of positive reaction and engagement. Yesterday, human rights advocates pushed for an amendment to Kentucky's Constitution. Representative George Brown Jr. was joined by other advocates to promote House Bill 121. The amendment would add Kentucky to the list of states removing slavery and involuntary servitude exceptions from their constitutions. Right now, the Constitution allows for exceptions in terms of involuntary servitude for incarcerated people.
Of course, it's focused on people that are currently incarcerated, people that's focused, but it's also for the state. We as people should not be in a slave state. We as residents of Kentucky, this should not be in our Constitution. It's 2025. It's time to move on. It's time to change and stand on the things that we've been saying that we've been built on. So if we're really talking about...
He says change starts in the Department of Corrections, and incarcerated people should be paid minimum wage for their work while serving time. This morning, President Trump's pick to lead the Department of Health and Human Services will be on Capitol Hill for his confirmation hearing. If confirmed, Kennedy would oversee the FDA and the CDC, while in the past, he's supported popular concepts like overhauling the nation's food supply. One day before his confirmation hearing, his first cousin, Caroline Kennedy, sent a letter to Congress calling him a predator and urging for his nomination to be rejected. Tomorrow, Kennedy will be back for another hearing, along with Trump's picks to lead the FBI and his choice for Director of National Intelligence. Well, there are still many unknowns on how the president's actions could impact organizations here in Kentucky. Officials with the Kentucky Center for Economic Policy say agencies are trying to figure out what the next steps could be. That include Voices of Hope, which helps recovering drug addicts. Program Director Jimmy Chadwell says this could impact their brick and mortar location, mobile assistance unit, and even educational efforts.
We're open 7 days a week, so if that's not open anymore, that's 7 days a week that people can't get recovery services.
Voices of Hope is not alone. The National Science Foundation abruptly canceled its grant review panels for this week. In 2023, it awarded more than $27 million in grants in Kentucky. The biggest chunk, $16 million for the University of Kentucky. Congressman Rogers says his office received multiple calls about this and says he looks forward to working with President Trump to safeguard critical programs in our region. He also says, in part, quote, his temporary pause strictly applies to grants and loans that promote DEI, the Green New Deal, and funds for organizations that undermine national interest. President Trump recently suggested he might eliminate the Federal Emergency Management Agency, known as FEMA. Appearing on CNN, Governor Andy Beshear talked about why he believes that getting rid of FEMA would be a bad decision. The governor pointed to the help from FEMA during the 2022 flood and added benefits the organization brings to all natural disasters.
But what FEMA does is give us more resources, take some of that administrative burden off our hands, bring some expertise for folks that have been through certain types of natural disasters before, and connects us to resources that we need. And at a time when we're all working as hard as we can.
President Trump does not have the authority to terminate FEMA. That power falls under the Department of Homeland Security and can only be terminated by congressional action. Legendary girls high school basketball coach Donnie Gray died on Saturday after a long battle with cancer. The former Clay County Tigerettes basketball coach won the 1989 state championship. and had 505 career wins, which is 6th on the Kentucky girls basketball wins list. He was also a teacher and bus driver for decades. Clay County Public School Superintendent William Sexton describes Gray as a man who was a mentor to students, and not just on the basketball court.
He was always here. He's a staple of the community, and I've listened to a lot of his players, talk about different things and how he mentored them and how they grew not only as individuals but as players as well.
Gray's visitation begins after 5 o'clock tomorrow. The funeral is at 1 on Thursday afternoon. All services will be at the Rominger Funeral Home Chapel. Donnie Gray was 73.
As you're heading out the door, this is what you can expect. Nice visibility across the area. No chance of fog in most places. Now let's take a look at the wind speeds, though. We do have those cooler temperatures, but much warmer than we have been seeing in the 40s. Now we do have the winds that are picking up in our more cooler areas, which will make those feels like temperatures just a tad bit cooler. Looking at elevated wind speeds in the upper single digits and low teens today. Some calmer winds as you're heading more towards that Tennessee-Kentucky border. Now as we look at satellite radar, nice and clear, no clouds right now, but we see some coming into our area in the next couple hours and no chance of precipitation. On the way to the bus stop, well, you can expect those temperatures in the low 40s with nice and clear skies. By the time you're heading home, look at the mid 50s with sunny skies. Amelia.
Thank you for starting your Wednesday with us. The time is now 6:41. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. Coffee lovers everywhere are on the edge of their seat as prices slowly go up despite the pause of tariffs.